Kerr mentioned that he and the coaches talked to you, Draymond and Jimmy last night, whether you really wanted to play, and said the answer was pretty adamant. What was that conversation like, and what's the message? What's the meaning of you guys saying we're playing? That just doesn't matter what the schedule is, we're playing.
The conversation just had, there's context of where we are in the season, but if any of us felt physically like we weren't ready to go or couldn't or put ourselves in jeopardy of taking a couple steps back physically, like then you have a different decision. But we all felt good, got in at a decent hour. Rick and Steve are pretty proactive on some of those conversations. When we all talked about it this morning, it was kind of full green light. So thankfully everything panned out where we got the win. Everybody got out of the game okay, feeling good. And hopefully you can keep taking care of business so that you have optionality at the end of the season, but who knows?
Steph, I asked Draymond about your quote about meaningful basketball and how's your demeanor different? Does Steph change at all when the basketball becomes more meaningful? And he said you can get in the weeds in terms of strategic suggestions, telling Steve Gui needs to be in the game right now, as an example. How do you feel any changes when it comes to April, when these games become obviously more important? How do you see yourself clicking into another gear in some way?
You always had a competitiveness, like the energy can go up and down depending on, what part of the season. It's obviously really hard to have a sustained level of everything for 82 games, but sense of urgency down the stretch, the feeling of, where you are in the standings, every game mattering. Is that a word? Every game matters. And the idea that, like, the chess match of how do we win this particular game becomes a little bit more important. And so, we talk every game in huddles, but you are a little bit more animated at times when you feel the sense of urgency because of where we are, at this point in the season. So we thrive off of that. That's why we've been so successful for this many, years, because as the stakes rise, the lights get brighter, we tend to, level up.
And what prompted you to ask for Gui to come in? That sounds like something you don't normally do.
Not that particular suggestion. It was just an idea. We had a 10, 12-point lead to become a little bit more versatile defensively. Like, we don't need to score any more points. It's just trying to get stops. And Gui is obviously a great energy guy. But, every game is different. So whether it was in L.A. last night when Jimmy was in the back getting his wrist checked, it was me and Draymond went back in the last minute and a half of the third quarter. Like, those little decisions can swing the momentum either way, and it just shows we're engaged.
Steph, I don't expect you to do a Draymond and call a championship here, but given what you guys just did at Memphis, Lakers in LA, back-to-back, after an incredibly long road trip, beat Denver, all three playoff teams, all three teams you could see pretty soon in the postseason. Is this a championship level team you're on right now?
We're playing like that. We have a lot of work. I've been saying that since this run started. We have a lot of work to do, and we still have a lot of work to do to finish the year strong. You are seeing an identity on a night-to-night that we understand how to win games, whether it's, games where the tempo is a lot faster, you got to score, or if it's a grinded-out defensive game. We've played better in fourth quarters with leads. All the things that championship-caliber teams do, we've been doing. And it's clearly different than 2 months ago. So just an idea of hold on to that energy, and for us to just be able to get into a playoff series, we understand what we're capable of. And whether you're predicting it or speaking into existence or whatever it is, like, the confidence is there. So just ride that wave.
Steph, so Brandy looked really confident tonight. So he passed the ball, he shooting the ball, he make a physical defense. So what's impressed you the most about his performance?
Just being decisive in everything that he does. And when he's decisive, catch and shoot, ball swinging, he's the guy that's supposed to take the shot and shoot it. You know, if he's making, a drive, the first decision is usually the right one, and good things will happen. So if he keeps playing like that, he's a difference maker. Last night was the exact same thing. So just the game comes to him when he's knocking out open looks, when he's, probing, playmaking, just keeping things simple and decisive. It's usually a good recipe.
Steph, rosters change year to year, but first time you guys have beat Denver since the 2022 playoffs. How much, was that maybe on your guys' mind, and does that add a little extra factor to tonight's win?
You knew about the streak for sure. It's just kind of it is a little extra motivation. Other than we need a win to staying pat in the standings. And just the idea that it's a back-to-back, and everybody talks a little bit about schedule losses and all that type of stuff. Like, we wanted to kind of rise to the level of the challenge of coming off a 6-game, 13-day road trip and having to, you get to get a good night's sleep in your bed, but you got to come back to work and perform, and we did that. And it's nice to beat those guys because it's been rough.
Steph, you said you guys are kind of clicking on all cylinders, but like on defense, you held, Nicola to like 2 points in the fourth quarter. So what do you think is the motivation to where you guys are getting better per game?
These teams that we're playing, we might see later, and they're really good teams that you have to play sound basketball. Whether you're missing or making shots, 48 minutes defensively, playing physical, the adjustments you make from quarter to quarter. He had a great first half. We changed some things, tried to send some bodies at him. We were flying around on defense, and he's a great player. He still got his numbers, but I think you just try to make him work. And I think, the fourth quarter maybe wore him a little bit, who knows, but he's a guy that it doesn't really matter what you do, he's going to find a way. You just kind of have to make him work for it.
When you say that, this team still has a lot of work to do, what kind of strides and in what areas do you hope to see entering the playoffs?
It's really just sustaining this level. We don't have to do anything special. We'll just sustain what we're doing and continue to find ways to win no matter how it looks. So that's what I mean by that. Like, can't fast forward to any, thing that's in the future for us. It's game by game. It's hard what we're doing. We're playing, undersized most of the time. We're trying to play fast on offense to play to our advantages. Like, physically, it's hard, but you have to embrace what it means to play playoff type basketball night after night. And if you can sustain that for down the stretch and then the stretch run in the playoffs, good things can happen.